You're close to like 40, 50, 60% of Alex Pereira's strikes are single shot strikes. Very hard to knock somebody out with single shot strikes. I know he has that power in the left hook that he looks for. And again, welcome back to Fighting Stats. My name is Artsy, and today we're going to be going over the Alex Pereira versus Jiri Prochazka fight. We did the full breakdown. We watched all the tape. We did all that. If you missed it, check out the link below. You can go back and watch the full 20-minute breakdown. I just wanted to go over the odds and sort of what I'll be looking at. I haven't put a play down yet, and I just wanted to show you why and what we do here. So when we went through the breakdown, we looked at Alex Pereira, we looked at Jiri Prochazka, what their chances that we felt that each one would win by TKO, by submission, and decision. So just to recap, we had Alex Pereira to win by TKO at 35%, win by submission around 5%. We aren't sure. We think that there could be some guillotines in there, training with Glover Teixeira. I think he has some submissions up his sleeve that he hasn't really shown yet, so we leave it at 5%. Winning by decision, we have at 15%. We think Jiri has a chin. It could go to decision if Alex Pereira stays on the outside, works a little bit of low kicks, doesn't really get into a firefight much. He almost went to decision with Israel Adesanya, and Jiri almost went to decision with Glover Teixeira. So definitely possible that Alex Pereira wins a decision. On the Jiri Prochazka side, we gave him 30% to win by TKO, slightly lower than Alex Pereira. Just Alex Pereira should be better defensively striking, so we give him at 30%. Win by submission, we have also at 5%. I know he went to the ground with Glover Teixeira, looked okay there, has attempted a couple of subs, but we left it at 5%. And win by decision is at 10%. So those are the odds that we determined that we thought were about right, or the percentages that were about right. So then what we do is we go over to DraftKings or any other sports book, and then we type in what the actual current odds are. So the current odds for Alex Pereira to win by TKO is plus 110. To win by submission, plus 2,000, and to win by decision, plus 850. And same thing over here on the Jiri Prochazka fight. Odds to win by TKO, plus 180, win by submission, plus 800, and win by decision, plus 700. And the reason that we do the original capping is that we can set our own lines and try to figure out where we find value. So, for example, we had Alex Pereira to win by TKO at around 35%. So that equals about plus 186 or better. With the current odds of plus 110, we're actually getting minus 3% expected value. It tells me that probably the books feel like Alex Pereira is going to win by TKO, and they tend to shade that side down, and so you're not getting a ton of value on that side. It's probably the most likely outcome of all the outcomes, and that's why it's shaded that way. So even though I think that is probably what will happen, we don't go and bet it because the odds are 110. We think that the odds should be plus 186 or better. I think that's a negative expected value or minus EV bet. So with that said, we go through all of the odds, all of the numbers. We try to find what the best better is, or what the positive EV bet is. I talked about that in rule number 4 of our rules to successful sports betting. We need to know the difference between finding value and picking winners. If I had to pick a winner, I would say Alex Pereira wins by TKO. Pretty straightforward, but at plus 110, I'm not willing to pay it. Jiri Prochazka was the former champ, very dangerous on the feet. I'm not willing to just pay plus 110 for Alex Pereira to win by TKO. So with that said, we try to find some other values. I have a worksheet here where again we outline the capped odds of where we think the odds should be. We put in the current odds, and then it spits out what's called eighth Kelly. That was my rule number 5, to use Kelly criterion to determine the optimal betting size and determine which bets have positive expected value. Now, I know sometimes that can be difficult to follow, so I've just put it into the spreadsheet. Basically, all it's telling us is that we capped Alex Pereira 35%. That bet Pereira to win by TKO minus EV. Win by submission, we said that it should be around plus 1900. We're getting plus 2000, so small edge there. If you wanted to take it, you probably do that. So I'm going to pass on that. Alex Pereira to win by decision, I do think it's live. We said if we get plus odds of plus 567 or better, we're currently getting plus 850, so that might be a play here. Kelly, the eighth Kelly criterion bet is telling us to put zero point 0.6 units on that bet. So we may end up following that just for a little side. Again, the odds of it happening are we think it's 15%, so we're most likely going to lose that bet. But in the cases or the 15% of times that it does hit, we're getting back the money that we think that we should be getting. Okay, so I know that can be confusing. If you bet 5 plus 567 and it was 15%, if they fought 100 times 15%, you would win plus 567. In the long run, you will make money because again, it's getting positive expected value, but it's not the winner. I want to make that clear. We don't think it will win, but just the value on that side is there because the odds are more than what we thought they were. On the Jiri Prochazka side, we thought they would win by TKO as plus 233 or better. We're only getting plus 180. So again, that's an option, but I don't like the expected value on that. You're going to have to pass on that side. Win by submission, I said about 5%, so plus 1900. The current odds are only plus 800. So again, it's going to have to be a pass for me on that side. And win by decision, we said it's going to be plus 900. We're only getting plus 700. So again, a pass on that side. For the fight to not go to decision, I did want to highlight that. So we said, based on those numbers, not to go to decision would actually equal about 75%. So that's about minus 300 or better. If you did go back to the breakdown, we did think that the books would shade that side, and they have. They made it minus 550. So we can't take that bet either. You see the minus 7.8% return. So, but on the flip side, if one side is heavily unfavorable, the goes to decision at plus 300. We said about 25%. We're getting plus 350. So very close in terms of the odds that we thought. Not big enough edge for me to go out there and race to bet it because again, we think it's only going to go to decision about 25%. So 1 in 4 times. That again, it probably loses, but when it does go, you're getting a slight little bit of value there. And inside the distance only lines, decision only lines, submission only lines, most of those lines can only be found at DraftKings. I know BetOnline has some of the BetOnline has the inside the distance only line. You can take a look at that. Most of the times, DraftKings only has the decision line and sub only line. The calculator here is telling us 2.7 units on decision only line. Now I know what you're saying. How does this fight ever go to decision? But I want to take you back to last week. Derek Lewis versus Gelton Almeida. Everybody said that fight was never going to go to decision. The actual odds for it to not go to decision were minus 10,000. So the books were shading that side completely. They didn't want anybody to bet on it, minus 10,000. And you know what happened? It went to decision. Gelton Almeida won unanimous decision. We played that same line, the decision only line in that fight, and we won it because Gelton Almeida had higher decision win equity than Derek Lewis. I think it's somewhat favorable for Alex Pereira to win a decision just based on Jiri's chin, based on able to take damage. I think Pereira can stay on the outside, land a bunch of leg kicks. He probably is the better technical striker. Jiri's very hittable. So I think it's possible for him to stay standing. Alex Pereira actually loads up on, he has a couple of single strikes. He tends to go for the jab. He tends to go for the hook, outside low kicks. If I actually pull up the striking tendencies chart that we have at Fighting Stats, you can actually see that. I'll quickly pull that up. So here, striking tendencies, Alex Pereira. So when we say he's standing and he's standing in orthodox, 26% of his strikes are just a single jab, with 15% of them coming a rear low kick, and 12% of them coming with a single cross, and 11% coming with that left hook that he likes. So the top 4 there, and then, sorry, I'll go into 9% is a rear high kick, so the right high kick from orthodox, 8% is the lead low kick, and 7% is the lead high kick. Only 5% of Alex Pereira's strikes are the 1-2 combo or multi-strike combo. So it's very hard to knock an opponent out, especially with just one punch. So the 26%, 30, 40, you're close to like 40, 50, 60% of Alex Pereira's strikes are single shot strikes. Very hard to knock somebody out with single shot strikes. I know he has that power in the left hook that he looks for. And again, he throws that left hook about 11% of the time. So just something to keep in note. Again, the leg kick heavy game, the right low kick at 15% and the lead low kick at 8%. So that's about 23% of his strikes would be low kicks. I think that will be a factor, especially with Jiri putting a lot of weight on the front foot. He does like to stand in orthodox, but if Alex Pereira is also going to stand in orthodox, that rear low kick that he throws at 15% is always going to add up, especially with a lot of weight on that front foot. So expect to see Jiri Prochazka switch to southpaw, and I think that's to counter the leg kicks. It's a little bit harder to throw the outside leg kick from southpaw than it is from orthodox versus orthodox. So keep that in mind. Fighting Stats is the only place that we have this type of information. We have the striking tendency, so we can break down what Alex Pereira likes to do in what situations. We can change it from going forward to only going backwards. So when Alex Pereira is going backwards, he heavily relies on the jab moving backwards at 41%, and that rear low kick is at 24%. The right cross is at 12%. So those are his striking tendencies when he's moving backwards. We have it overall. We have him in orthodox and southpaw. Check out Fighting Stats for exclusive stats not found anywhere else. So going back to the actual odds breakdown here, based on those numbers, and that's why I'm not really dying to bet a side. I think the odds are pretty much right on both sides. We said they're 55% or minus 122. That is the actual current odds. So unless some big money comes in on one side, driving another side up, I'm not really dying. Like, there's a lot of question marks coming into it. I'll probably end up passing, which is okay. I know we did a lot of tape study. We did a lot of analysis. But in order to be successful, we're not trying to force a play. I may end up a play on the total. I think it goes over a little bit. I think the striking tendencies of Alex Pereira just to throw those single strikes, and the tendencies for Jiri to be able to eat some strikes. In a 5-round fight, they want to pace themselves out a little bit. I think it could go over 1.5 rounds. I know that goes somewhat contrarian to what you would think. Two heavy-duty strikers going up against each other, you would think it goes under. But I do think that's probably where some of the value goes in. And I think into the later rounds, if Alex Pereira does load up on those leg kicks, that they probably pay off in rounds 3, 4, and 5. I think Jiri probably has a slight edge in the cardio. So Jiri also could win in rounds 3, 4, and 5. So I'll be looking at the over 1.5 starts round 2 sort of play. That's all I can really see in terms of the numbers. Nothing really jumping out at us. Maybe we'll take the decision only line that we talked about just for a couple. It says 2.7 units at 8 Kelly. So it is aggressive, but we might play that just knowing that Alex Pereira just has a little bit more decision win equity and seeing if we can cash that. We know it probably pushes because it doesn't go to decision 75% of the time, but that's okay. We're not losing money if it pushes anyway. So I hope you found that useful. Let me know in the comments below if you found it. If you did find it useful, if you want me to add anything. But this is what we do: is we look into the numbers. We're not forcing a play. It really is important of the price that you're getting. It's important, rule number 2, to shop around, make sure that you are getting the right price, and trying to find those expected value wins, not just picking a winner. Because again, if I had to pick a winner, Alex Pereira to win by TKO. But the value side and the money making side is more important than just picking a winner. So that's what we're trying to do here. Stay tuned. We'll try to go into the other fights, break this down similarly. But this is what we do. We have these worksheets. I'll share this worksheet to our social media so that you have a copy of that. You can take a look and see if anything moves. You'll know where the value sides lie. Once again, my name is Art C. This is Fighting Stats. I hope you enjoyed the show. See you at the window. Bye. Okay, guys. Well, that is it for today. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the show, make sure you smash the like button, hit the subscribe. You'll get notified anytime we put out new content. Again, my name is Art C. You can follow me on Twitter at Mr. Electrocute. This is Fighting Stats, the ultimate source for exclusive and in-depth MMA statistics and best bets. We'll see you guys at the window.